Hey,
And
and
we're live.
live. Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
I see we've got people in the house. We've got Lindy and Vicky and Barb. Good morning, ladies. We are Art Joy Sharing Live. It's Shel C and Peg Robinson, and we're doing decorative tape today. How's everybody doing? How are you, Shel?
I'm good. I haven't really ever made decorative tape with the exception of the cleanup tape from my gel uh, plate, cleaning it up. So this
Yeah.
will be fun for me. I've got some new stuff to play with from the dollar store, and I'm just gonna, do stuff.
I got more stuff out here than I got time for, I'll tell you. Um, I don't know. I love making my own embellishments. This is something that's really cool for me. So I have tissue paper, and I have my jelly plate, and I have napkins, and just about anything that you can think of is out here on my desk today. Hi, Marie. Hi, Janice. Hi, Anne. Hi, Ela. Good morning, everybody. Hey, we're glad you're here.
Well, I think I'm going to start with finishing up these. Um, if you watched my video the other day where I did that dog paper painting
Yeah,
for
that
the
was
garden,
gorgeous. Hey,
I
there's
used,
Sherry. Sherry, we were just asking about you this morning. How you feeling, sweetie?
huh? There's Sherry. Wow. Hi, Sherry.
Yeah.
So I still have some of these pieces left. And what they were was just packaging tape, just cheap packaging tape from the dollar store and the gel plate. And I had a bunch of leftover bits on it. I like crusty bits. And it was just getting too dirty around the edges. And so I just laid this tape down and pulled it up because I like crusty bits, but I don't like crunchy bits. And what
Oh,
happens with my plate is that it makes crunchy bits around the edges because you can see right here, see it's got some more. You can see right here where the 8.5 by 11 that I print is on the 12 by 12. But then around the edges, all around the edges, I get this thick stuff. It's just. So that's what I picked up with the tape. And then I'm going to finish them. I'm going to start with those. Just, laying the tape down.
cool.
But then since it's not a full image, it's just a little bit, then I don't get like a whole finished tape. So then I have to put other stuff on the back. But I'm going to start with that. Then I have these other sheets that I'm going to work with. So there are other types of tape. So what are you going to do? What are
Well,
you going to start with?
first, I'm going to say hello to the other people that are still joining. We have Thea. She says she's lurking today, and Franna and Michelle. Hi, everybody. Yeah, I have a whole bunch of stuff to show you guys. I have napkins. You guys, I know you guys have napkins, and you know how to separate them out just by putting a little piece of tape on the edge. But I mean, these napkins are great to make tape out of because it's tissue. And this one I just backed with some of this Elizabeth Craft tape. Okay, so now I can cut this into strips, and this becomes a nice washi tape. So that's real easy. Here's one that I did with Sukwane tape. Think about all the tapes that you have in your stash already. So here's a pretty little washi that I did with just a napkin. This is stuff you guys have laying around. Pretty little napkin and some Sukwane tape. Then I've got some other things. Here's some tissue paper. Everybody has this stuff, this Tim Holtz tissue paper and all kinds of tissue paper in our stash, right? And I made these just by running them through the Xyron machine. So you can, if you guys have a Xyron or any other kind of tape, like what I just showed you, the Elizabeth Craft tape, you can just back that. Whoops, looks like I got to the end of my throw here. Okay, so there's my there's my Xyron taped. And I can cut this into strips. Oops, that's tearing. Must have been a slit in there. Okay, so now I've got my sheet of tissue, and then I can just cut it into strips like this. Now what I like to do, because these have the backer on them, so they're just like regular washi that you can tear, is you can either store these flat in a folder, or some people like to take things like this and wrap them to make their coil. So you can wrap several different ones on here. This is just an old pill bottle. And I can, you know, if it's the same pattern, I can just wrap several layers of the same pattern, but I can put a lot of different tapes on these and store them this way. So that's one idea. And then here's some that I made. These are just stuff that I did this morning, guys. So it doesn't take long at all to do this. These are some that I made from gel print pulls. Okay. So there again, I put an adhesive on the back and sliced it into pieces. Now these, now that I've got them like this, I can embellish this even more. I can take my stamps and I can add more. You know, I want to put a permanent ink on here, but if I want to add more to these, I can just go ahead and stamp on here and create more texture, more dimension. I can stencil on this, you know, whatever you guys want to do, because you're just going to end up cutting it apart, and then you've got tape to go down on your project. So that's some of it. And then I also want to show you, you know, how you can make your own fabric washi. You guys have seen this fabric stuff in the store. Well, I've got these pretty fabric strips, right? And so I can just take, yeah, you two need to get together. Vicki and Sherry are both in Texas. I can just take some tape like this, Elizabeth tape, and take a section of it. And I mean, you can use this to lift stuff off of your gel plate. I've got a gel plate over here with some stuff drying on it. You know, think of all the ideas that you can come up with. I have paper tape from the dollar store. This stuff is $1. Okay, everybody can get that. I've got, you know, the tape like Shel was showing you. But here's a piece of that double-sided adhesive, all right? And I can just start layering my fabric strips. And I know, I know many of you have fabric strips. I mean, especially Barb. Barb is a quilter, so I know she's got fabric strips. So I can just layer these up just like this. Make sure that you get them burnished down really well. But these are going to make fabulous washi. And then I can come back and stamp or paint on these fabrics if I want to before I cut them up. But I like these like 1/2-inch wide strips are pretty good for this. So this is fun. What do you guys do? Do you guys have any other ideas for washi? Tell us how you make your washi. Hi, Elaine. Good morning.
Speaking of napkins, yeah, I have this, you know, I don't like to waste anything. I don't like to waste, but yet there are things that I don't want to reuse.
Right.
These are just napkin pieces that have already been separated, you know, and everything, and I've used them on a project. So usually a napkin will be folded and it has multiple seams on it. They're the same, right?
Yeah.
So maybe I don't want to use this again on an art journal page or a tag or something because I already did that.
Yep.
So what do you do with them?
You make washi.
I just took that piece of, it's wet, but I just took one of those pieces of the tape that I've pulled off the paint on it, and I stuck the napkin on the back. And I don't like shiny things. I like shimmery things and I like glittery things, but I don't like glossy things. And that's one thing I don't like about this tape, this packing tape. It's too shiny. So I put it upside down. And then I did that a few minutes ago with a different piece. And because it is upside down, which this one might not, I put some matte medium over the top of it. But if you have something like this powder stuff, powder pigment, since I stuck it upside down to make the gloss go away, I glued the gloss to the napkin. Then I just went over the top and I put it somewhere. Here it is. This one was on this stuff, and I put the tape glossy side down, but then the top was still sticky. So I just used powdered pigment to fluff over it with a fluffy makeup brush, and that takes the sticky away. So now I have a piece of tape. And I made it into a really boring card because it was boring, but I need a lot of cards to send out. So that's what I'm doing with these pieces of shipping stuff.
Yeah.
So this thing needs to dry, but I don't think it's going to be sticky because I went over the top of it with matte medium to like brush it down. The thing about napkins is they're so reactive to water and everything that it was different than putting it on that tissue. But anyway.
Yeah.
That's a good way to use up all those napkin scraps.
It is. So I'm burnishing down this fabric just to make sure it's going to stay. Want to make sure I've got it where I want it. And I've got some of my, my homemade stamps. These are those stamps that are just foam that I cut and pasted and created my own stamps with. And so now I've got my gel plate over here that's drying because I want this dry to pull it up with the tape. But I need to put another layer on here. And I think the next layer I put on, I want to have as a lighter color. So I'm going to pick, here's a delicate chalk finish Americana paint in kind of a creamy yellow. So I'm just going to put some of that down on my desk and get my little brayer, if it'll turn for me. This poor thing. I might have to get a new one sometime. It's been through a lot. It doesn't want to turn for me anymore. All right. Get my brayer loaded up, and then I'm just going to put a coat on my stamp. And I'm going to stamp that onto my fabric piece here, because we want more than just that pretty color fabric. We want some texture. So, see how we do with that. Oh yeah, there we go. And we'll do it again. So Sherry, I've been thinking about you, sweetie. I know you've been going through it, but it will get better, right? So I hope everything's okay on the farm and the animals are doing good and you're not underwater or anything. Okay, so yeah, I like that. That's kind of cool. And then I've still got this paint here. So I'm just going to use that for another layer on my gel plate. And I may need more paint than that, and I may need a bigger brayer. I don't want a thick layer. I just really want a thin layer on here, so I hesitate to put too much out. You guys know the drill. Put it on, wait for it to dry. So, yeah, that's still not enough.
I think I need some white. Maybe white.
So, with that, I am going to take some tape and brayer that on a portion of this. See if I can get some texture in the background. And what else do I want to do? Let's take this same stamp. See if this, oh boy, that chalk paint really dries fast. Something to consider when you put this stuff down, right? Okay, so I'm good with that layer. I'm going to put a final coat of something metallic over that, and then I'm going to lift it with some packing tape. Or, okay, another thing that you can use, if you guys haven't done it before, you guys all have contact paper. This clear contact paper can be used. So that's another thing.
I used to use that.
Yeah.
I wonder if I have any of that left somewhere.
Bet you do. I bet you do, hidden somewhere.
Oh, probably. Another nice thing you can do with your tape, if it goes empty, you can always use it as a mark making tool.
That's true.
This is my favorite circle mark making tool, and it's the inside of a tape. Love it. I also used a more squarish one. This is a Tupperware. And then I stamped with some archival ink, and I think that this one is going to be done. So, yeah. A little bit of tape. Have to set it aside to dry. And we'll make some fun designs on the old 6x6.
Okay. Vicki is asking if I need to seal the paint on the ribbons. You know, because I'm using it in my journal, I don't worry about it because it's just going on a journal page. If I were doing it on some major project, I would be sealing the whole project. So eventually everything's going to get sealed. But yeah, right now I'm not too worried about a seal on there because, and if you're worried about, you know, you can also add fabric medium. There's any number of things that you can do. Vicki also says, love that one, Shel.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I drug out my paper towel roll this morning.
As well you should. I'm going to make another one. These little silly packing tape pieces have been stuck to the side of my table now for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's time to finish them up and get them off the side of my table because every time I try to open a drawer underneath, the stupid things attack me.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what happens. They attack me straight up.
Let's see. I need a towel.
Guess
Yes.
So Peg was mentioning this morning that she would like to have a lot of these embellishments done by November because we can use them in our everyday art journaling in November.
Yep.
And I said, you are a smart lady.
I try to plan ahead. Doesn't always work very well, but you know.
It's
Okay,
kind of crazy around about that time.
Kind of got that picked up. This is not quite dry yet. So let me show you one other thing. I have just a printed out piece of paper from Gina. These are Gina's designs on her Etsy store. And guess what? You can transfer this stuff too onto some tape. You can just use regular tape like this from the dollar store. I always want to call it Scotch tape, but it's, you know, wrapping tape. And so what I did was I took a section of the paper and I just took some of this tape and put it down over the image like that. And then I cut it out. And you guys have probably seen transfers before.
Packing tape transfer.
Yeah,
it's a thing.
Basically, that's the same thing. So here we go. I've got a piece of tape like this, right? And I can just dunk it in some water. This is another one I did this morning where it's been soaking in the water. Oh, yeah, I didn't get it down good enough. See if I can get this off of here. Get it to transfer. But you're just going to rub the backer. Oops, no, I didn't get it down good enough. You're just going to rub the backer off. Maybe that will be better. Some of it's working. Some of it's working. But you guys get the drift here. We're just going to do that. And then, you know, you can see, if I put this on a piece of paper, you can see the image through the tape. The image is left on the tape. So that's another thing that you can do with tape. So let's see. I think this might be dry enough. So let me get let's try that. What did I do with that? Here we go. The contact paper. Yeah, let's try the contact paper. See what we got.
Good plan.
So I think this one.
I've got out a couple pieces of this deli paper that is like the edges when I'm gel printing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put some of this tape over the top of that.
Yeah.
And fill it up. I just like to glue things to things. I really do. Gluing things to things is just so satisfying. But not the glossy side. We're going to get rid of the glossy side, I'm telling you.
Hi, Vicky Brown number 2. I bet you recognize those feathers, Gina. See what happens when I have your pretty stuff? It gets used. Okay, so I'm starting to pull the backer off of this contact, and I want to, this is the tricky part. I want it to go down smoothly. I always have trouble with contact paper. Anybody else have trouble with contact paper? Maybe I'm just doing it, I don't know. But I'm gonna place it on the edge of my plate and burnish that edge, and then as I pull as I pull the backer off, I'm just going to run it across. So I don't end up with a bunch of air bubbles and crinkles in here. Hopefully. We'll see. We'll see how bad I am at this. Okay, so I'm at the other edge, so I'm just going to fold that because that can just stay on the sheet. And then I'm going to, I want to make sure that that's making really good contact. I want to make sure that my brayer is clean. Here, I'll just grab a different one. How would that be? All right, I have another brayer. I'm just going to make sure that I'm making good contact with that painted surface. And we'll see if we have liftoff.
Oh my gosh, crusty bit.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
oh yeah, look at there, look at there.
Mm.
And there we have it. Okay, so I can still stamp on that, do whatever I want on it, seal it, as some people have mentioned, but it becomes something very usable in my art later. And the big pieces like that, if you save those old rolls, you can actually roll them up on those. And let's get back to my tissue, because I want to finish that one. Did I ever get it separated? All the layers? Not sure. There's one more layer on there. Not sometimes these are 3-ply, sometimes they're 2-ply. So you just have to play with them and see. And the way they're printed, you know, sometimes you just can't tell until you tear a corner or something. Yep, there was another layer. So this must have been a 3-ply. Yeah, Shel was doing the packing tape this morning, Gina. And yep, we have done packing tape for sure. Actually, you know, here's that little bit of, like Shel was talking about earlier, here's that little crusty edge. And I can take my packing tape, and this is a good way to clean your plate. I can take my packing tape, and if you missed what Shel was doing earlier, I can just put it down there right on the edge and pick up all that crusty goodness. And then, you know, you can use mica powders, you can use other papers behind this. You can use tissue paper, napkins, printed text paper, foil, all kinds of things behind this. But here's my packing tape that's got that little bit of paint that I picked up off of there on it. And so I can take that piece. Shel was talking about she couldn't find her foil this morning, so I'll grab the foil and show you what that looks like on here.
And I'll show you these are my 4 pieces of packing tape so far. This one's pretty much finished, and these 3 are still kind of wet, but this one I didn't put any matte medium over the top when I stuck everything together so that I could show you this Pearl-X powder, because this is still sticky. In the places where it's sticky, from the tape, because remember I put it the opposite side down. I can just take a little bit of this powder and just go over all the spots, and the powder will stick only to where the sticky parts are and make it not sticky anymore and make it kind of shiny and pretty. Not shiny glossy, but shiny shimmery.
Yep.
There's a difference.
Okay, if you say so.
So now it's shimmery where the places are that that the sticky stuff was. Because this is exactly just one of those packing tape things. And this is a makeup brush, a cheap makeup brush, because it's floofy. It makes a nice floofiness, you know. And then I can stamp and mark make over the top of these. This piece of tape didn't have very much paint on it, but you can see where it was. And then I got the napkin on the back. But I'm going to put all these aside and start something different. So just wanted to show you guys the powder. That's mica powder that I've had for like 15 or 20 years. You never use it up.
No, I can't remember. I bought, oh my goodness, it's probably been 30 years since I bought my first Pearl-Ex powders, I think. Because they were what was on the market at the time. But,
new back then.
you know, even if you on a budget, use the eyeshadow and stuff from the dollar store.
Yeah.
You know, it works.
Totally works.
So you don't have to have a fortune to do these things. So here's that piece where I backed it with foiling.
Yummy. But too glossy.
All these little
put some matte medium on that.
Fly around. I keep them in a little closed box. I keep the sheets whole. I keep the sheets whole like this. And then this is copper fire leaf. And then all these little pieces I put into a box because you can use these. You can use these everywhere. So don't just let it go. Oh boy, my fan's on. Woo! Don't let it go to waste.
Vicky, she's asking if there's a special brand of packing tape. No, there isn't. Just clear tape from the dollar store. Mine's Duck brand, but it was $1 at the dollar store. Just got to have something sticky and clear. That's all. So I'm going to move on to these. I've taken some pieces of wax paper, just, you know, plain kitchen wax paper, and I have two different types of tapes. I've got this paper tape, which is for sticking on bandages. That's from the dollar store for $1. And I have some athletic tape, which is for wrapping around your ankles and stuff if you're trying not to injure yourself. And they're very different textures, but they're both from the dollar store. And I just put them on the wax paper, and then I did a little test. This is my little test piece. The paper tape's at the top, and the kind of cloth athletic tape is at the bottom. I put some watercolor on it. I put some distress oxide, some alcohol ink, scribble sticks, and some acrylic, just to see like how the tape accepts the medium. And so I'm just gonna make some pieces on these, and then I'm just gonna store it like this. Once it's dry, I'll just store it like that, and then it just peels off really easy, and I can stick it onto other projects. So that's my next plan. Yeah, I think I'm going to start with the paper tape and maybe some acrylic paint. And now maybe I'll use a water-based medium. What do you think?
Whatever.
You know, I'm an acrylic person, but we ought to do something else. Something not acrylic. Let's see. How about gelatos?
Oh, gelatos would be fun.
They're still out from last week.
Oh, well, there you go.
Because nothing ever gets put away. Everything just piles up in a big pile.
Oh, well, I had to clear the decks. I had stuff to do. So I actually had a clear spot before this morning, and yeah, the pile is back. Hello. My pile just grows every day I'm down here. What can
Yeah, I need to do some serious cleaning and organizing, but I hate doing that. I would rather play, so.
Yeah.
In honor of our discussion the other day about how much Cindy hates orange, I think I'm going to make these orange.
Oh, no. Sorry, Cindy.
It's got to be done, you know?
Whoops. Oh, that wasn't good.
Some different colors of orange on here.
All right. So I have this Elizabeth craft design tape in the big roll because, you know, when you go to the shows, you get a discount on it and you just, you know, you buy the tape. So there's that napkin, and I can just cut this into strips, and that's going to make a really pretty tape. Right? All right. So I also have a tray here with different types of tape. And what I have, this is just a clear plastic tray, and I've covered it with a piece of parchment, and then I have put different types of tape out on the parchment because I can cut this part and leave the parchment on the back because it will peel off of the tape, and then I have my tape. So what do I have? Well, let me show you the different tapes that I'm using. I have this one. You may know this is frog tape. This is just plain old frog tape that I use all the time. You can use the blue painter's tape. You can use any of that kind of stuff that you got around in your area. This one is masking tape, cheap old masking tape from the hardware store. Okay, this works. This is some resist tape that is repositionable, and you know, I bought this, I think, at somebody's garage sale for $4, and it was a big roll. So yeah, I got that. And then I also have some of that paper tape. This is the dollar store paper tape, and this looks very much like washi tape because when you pull it off, you can see through the tape. So, you know, it's got the adhesion qualities of washi, and it's clear. So I can create my own tape just by laying it out like this and putting stuff on these surfaces. Ela says she's reorganizing. She comes across things she's forgotten. Yeah, don't we all? Oh my gosh. Craziness. Okay, so let's start putting some paint on these. I've just got some cheap craft paints. This is Deco Art Dazzling Metallic.
So I put all my gelatos on there, and as Peg is saying, you can see this stuff it's translucent. So either side of it would be kind of pretty. It looks like crayons on that side. And I just took a stiff brush and I blended it a little bit. Just going to warn you guys that there is a huge storm, and if the whole show cuts out, it's because my electricity went out.
Uh-oh. Ruh-roh.
Yesterday, I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram, but if you do, go take a look at the video from yesterday. There was like 1 inch hail. 98 degrees Fahrenheit outside. Storm rolls in, and there was 1 inch hail falling.
Wow.
I mean, it's hot, and yet it's like hail. It made no sense at all.
Yeah.
So, crazy stuff. But there's another big cloud, and the lightning just went across my window.
You know?
Thunder. The whole thing. I think I'm going to do stenciling on this.
We don't want anybody having ad storms and all of that stuff.
Oh, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I need some paper to pick up this paint, don't I? Yes, I do. Because we don't want to waste. And I need to, now when you're drying tape, be sure that you don't use a hot tool to dry it with and move across it like this, you know, to make sure that you're not heating any one spot too much, because that adhesive will get warm and it will lift. So just, you know, be forewarned that you want to keep that tool moving.
My cheap white paint has about had it. Won't come out. Okay, so I got the weirdest thing that I want to show you guys. In the stencil club, somebody was talking about these brushes that they were using to stencil. And they're makeup brushes, and they look like toothbrushes, but they're inexpensive. This whole set of them, and a couple of them are just somewhere else, but this whole set of them in all different sizes was only $5 on Amazon. And you just stencil with them, and then you just throw them in the water and wash them like a regular brush. So this particular one is called Kedsum Makeup Brush Set. And they're so soft. Like if you really were going to, you know, be one of the beautiful people and you were going to do all your makeup and everything and blend with all your concealer and your shading and whatever, these things would be awesome for that. But they're also really fun for stenciling. You just go like that. They keep the paint from going underneath, kind of. I mean, you don't want to get it too soppy, but just kind of pat and rub, and you get a nice stencil effect. Crazy, huh? Makeup brushes.
Yeah, I've tried some makeup brushes and they're too soft for me. I like a little stiffer brush when it comes to stenciling, but it's a preference thing, you know.
I had to try this because I had never even heard of these brushes before. It's like the ones the toothbrush makeup brushes, and I'm like, what are you talking about, lady?
I know, I saw that. I saw her do that, and it's like, no, thanks. But you like it, huh?
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay.
And they were cheap, so.
Yeah, I have, you know, I have stencil brushes from way back when. I have, what are they called? Dreamweaver stencil brushes, because remember when everybody was all about the brass stencils?
Yep, I have those same stencil brushes that you do.
Yeah. I mean,
really
I have Dreamweaver stencil brushes from way back when. I also have those stipple brushes, because that's what everybody had back then, was the stipple brushes, because you were stippling color down. And so I had a bazillion of those, because you had to have them for all your different color families, right?
Of course. Everyone knows that. I was watching that show, the crafting challenge show thing called Making It.
Yeah.
And one of the ladies on there said something that just made me about double over laughing. She said, stamping is a gateway craft.
Yes, indeed. Oh my.
It really is.
Yeah.
I think that's where we all started.
I mean, I remember, okay, I remember being invited to my first stamp party. You remember going to stamp parties? Because they were
Yeah, because
selling
I
in
was
the
one of
home
those people who
sales.
sold those stamps.
And this girl asked me to go to a stamp party. And I said, what? Are you collecting stamps? You know, because I'm thinking postage stamps, right?
Yeah.
And she says, oh, no, no, you just have to come. You know, you're really going to enjoy this because I know you like crafts. And I thought, oh, yeah, right. Probably not going to do anything with that. Yeah. First stamp party, I was hooked. I fell hook, line, and sinker and never looked back.
My friend Susan, she invited me to a Stampin' Up! Party. She said, you're going to love this. I said, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And she's like, you're going to love it. Trust me, you just have to come. I signed up to be a demonstrator and was a demonstrator for over 10 years.
Wow.
So for me, it really was a gateway craft.
It was.
Of course, I've been doing stuff my whole life. You know, it's not like I haven't crafted before.
No, right. But I mean, it's one of the, you know, if you've been a crafter, you can think of stamps are a tool. And you just think about how many ways you can use that stamp to create. And that was the thing that got me. It's like, oh, yeah, I can do this on the kids' clothes. I can make my home decor. I can. I was off and running, baby.
I can sell other people's stamps and make money.
Yeah.
And I did do that. I had stamping in my bathroom. I had stamp border in my bathroom. I made all kinds of decorative clothes and bags and boxes and, you know, just every kind of thing that you could possibly think of.
Yep.
In the world with stamps. And they're still relevant today. People are still stamping.
Oh, yeah. I love my stamps. I would not part with my stamps. Just saying. Hello. Do you see this on my desk? I am going to use stamps now.
Yes, I think I will use stamps also. Although I do love stencils.
Well, I just did a little stenciling. And I will probably do a little more stenciling. But, you know, the thing about it, and I am an ink person. I love my inks. And the thing about the inks is that they are also very versatile. That's why I like the ones that are permanent. And I'm stamping away on my washi tape. Because I have archival ink.
Yes, I have switched to archival ink. I had, you know, dye-based inks for so long, and I still have them, but I never use them.
Well, only if I'm making cards or something do I use the dye-based inks.
Yeah, but I never make cards anymore unless it's with mixed media stuff.
Especially when you've got all these backgrounds and things that you can whip a card out with. You just hack off a piece of paper and put a sentiment on it, right?
Yes, that's exactly right.
I've talked myself into doing something. So let's see now. I need to add something light. So let me get some gesso. And another stencil. Because we're never done stenciling. Oh, here we go. Some stars. Get some stars.
Orange or blue? I think I need to dry. It's getting crazy.
Uh-oh. palette knife. There it is. Oh. Yeah, you know, people look at all the stuff I have and it's like, okay, that's probably 40 years of accumulating craft stuff. So don't expect that you're going to have everything overnight. The main thing when you're buying craft supplies that I find is to investigate them, because I spent a lot of money on things that I already had a comparable item for. Just because somebody said, oh, it's the cat's meow. And I didn't really need it. Well, I didn't, you know, because I had stuff that would work the same way. So
I'm not sure I've ever said it's the cat's meow, though.
Oh, really?
Not sure.
Ah. Well, let me introduce you to my language.
I just squirted paint everywhere. Why does this always happen when you're on live? It never happens any other times. Ah! Crazy. Crazy.
Now, these things are going to look like overkill, but remember, this is tape. And it's going to be divided into little bitty pieces. So,
yeah,
you know, your design is going to have a lot of stuff on it because it's tape.
Yep. Basically like making a masterboard and then cutting it up, only
Yep.
It's tape. So it has its own self-adhesiveness.
Anne says she wants to put away her other things and play with tape. Well, you know, you can just set them aside for a little while and then, you know, come back to them.
Yeah, we're like that. We cause people to do stuff. It's always fun. We're enablers, Peg.
Well, that's okay. I mean, you know, I love it when I watch a video and I say, "Oh, I have to go try that." You know, that's my kind of video. I want to be excited by something that I see on a YouTube video. So
I haven't had a lot of that recently.
well,
it's like, have I seen it all? You know, I don't know.
We've seen
Probably
a lot,
not.
but there's still stuff that gets me excited.
Yeah.
So, all right, I want some black. I need black to contrast with the white, right?
Papa Black.
Papa Black. Where's Patty when you need her?
I know, right? Hello, lover.
Oh my gosh, something I got excited about lately. She was showing some of the most beautiful iridescent watercolors. Oh my gosh, I want them. I want them.
So another weird thing that I have here, sometimes I get these labels in packages. It's a sticky. And I started throwing them in a stack because I figured I would just gel print on them. As labels are another choice. We didn't say anything about that today yet.
Oh,
you can gel print or do any of these techniques on labels and make really cool stuff too. I don't know if that one's done yet, but I have this little bit of paint left. So I'm going to put some of this paint on this plate, which has some other colors on it already. And I'm going to do these sticky labels that are they're just junk. They're junk from inside of a package. I don't know why they do that. Why do they think they need to send a label? I don't get it.
Oh, Gina. I know. They're on my wish list too.
Let's do this.
I actually, yeah, I did put it out. I think I did put it out on my wish list. I don't know. I had created that whole Amazon store lately. I did the Amazon store before, but I had not actually put stuff into categories and divided it all out and everything. So I was being so efficient this week. I don't know what's going on with me. And so now
Come up.
they can just go shop my store because it's got all kinds of good stuff in it. All right. So I'm going to cut this up and just show you the end results here. What a big sheet of this stuff looks like. But speaking of stores, if you guys haven't looked at Gina's store, put Gina's Etsy store up there. Gina has a wonderful Etsy store with all kinds of digitals. And yeah, that feather paper was one of them that's in her Etsy store. So yeah, check her out if you guys are not familiar with Gina. And also, you know, get familiar with other people's channels here, because there's a lot of you guys in the chat that have your own channels that, you know, we're talking about inspiration and content. Go watch your fellow crafters and see what they're up to, because, you know, you guys inspire me. I enjoy watching you guys.
Do I like this one?
We'll talk about that later, Gina. Too funny.
Man, can you guys hear that rumbling? Brum, 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 brum.
Oh, isn't that, we've had, I cannot tell you how many storms we've had through here this last month. I mean, it's just insane. All right, I'm going to get my big cutter. Just because it's easier.
So much stuff everywhere, just everywhere. Things are taking over. The world has been taken over.
Huh. Trying to find where my break is here.
So these tapes, they just come right off the wax paper. And you can just put them on a different piece of paper. And oh, stop. If you have dull scissors, you might have a problem with that, but also this isn't quite dry, but make yourself a background. Whoa, the lightning again. It's going crazy out there.
Is it monsoon season?
Yep, it's monsoon season, and unlike previous years, we were actually really having a good monsoon season. But the storm yesterday, which is supposed to continue today, really messed up a lot of people's stuff. Did a lot of damage around.
That's okay, Vicki. We'll find them and drop them in the store after the show. Thanks for checking though. That's so kind of you. She said the links are way too long. Yeah, you got to use Bitly or something.
Yeah. Bitly or Google. So then I can just take this and trim it down. Whoa.
That's what I'm doing. I'm just trimming out strips. Like I said, you can keep these in a sleeve in your journal, or you can wrap them on those rolls if you're going to store them in a cubby or something. Oh, I didn't get all the way through on that one. So that's what we have scissors for. There we go.
Never fails. The color you're looking for is always the one on the bottom.
Yeah.
So I have the panel trimmed down, and I'm just gonna,
Hey, Nikki, how are you? Glad you could join us today.
it's like the simplest form of anything ever. Put it on a card back.
Here we go. Pick this one up.
Sounds like fireworks. It's so like boom, boom out there.
Huh.
Crazy. It's crazy.
If I could cut a straight line, I'd be dangerous. Let's see, that's 2.5. Cut it at 2. And 1.5. You can make these tapes whatever width you want them to be. So you see I have an assortment here out of that napkin. I have little thin ones, and I have bigger thick ones. And let's see, what else do I have here? Needs cutting up. Oh, my fabric needs cutting up. Do this on. I might have to do this one with scissors. Fabric is fun, if you've got pinking shears too. You can use pinking shears on the edge. And I think they even have pinking shears with different cuts now. It's not just the wavy one. You can get scallops and things, which are fun.
I have a bunch of those in the drawer.
I've got the old craft kind, but I don't think they'll cut through the fabric.
Some of them will.
Yeah.
But not all of them.
Pinking shears for my fabric.
What do you suppose they called it that?
Pinking?
Pinking.
I have no idea. We'll have to research that. We'll have to do a hey Google. Oh, just broke a nail. Darn.
Uh-oh.
The hazards of crafting. You don't have beautiful nails.
Yeah, I just cut mine off because it's pointless.
All right. What's next? Oh, we've got this one still. I've got, let me get this cutter out of the way. Got this napkin still. And I didn't do this tissue paper either. This would be pretty. See this tissue?
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking Winter Wonderland stuff.
Winter Wonderland.
Or like this one that's got text on it. Or I've got this whole pack I pulled out of the drawer, which is a Deco Art one that's got maps and things. That would be fun too. Lots and lots of stuff I can make tape out of.
Yes. How much time do we have left?
We got about 25.
Well, I guess I can still get to the athletic tape then.
No Google today. Aww. Yeah, Glenda, tape out of a napkin. Absolutely. It's all good. Let me get this little thing here. I've got this gesso out. I should use some. And I don't know if I said good morning or good afternoon or good evening to Glenda. I know Nikki's on the other side of the world, so not sure what time of day it is for her. Are you doing your live this afternoon, Nikki? If you guys don't know about International Crafters, check them out.
So there's another very simple card using tapes. Wanted to have something to photograph at the end. Piles of tape. 2 simple cards.
Mm-hmm.
This one I did use those decorative shears on the tape. Very simple. Let's try out this athletic tape and see how that works. It's like cloth. It feels like canvas. Has a texture to it.
Yeah, it's really kind of fun stuff. I mean, get a piece of paper out here. I should just put some of these on a piece of paper so you guys can see them better. This is the napkin tape. Get it started here. So you see it peels just like regular washi. So I can put that down and get a lovely piece of napkin tape. That one doesn't hear real well, so snip it off. Or I'll just put the whole piece down. There we go. Okay, that was napkin. This is the other napkin that I did. So I know you guys have napkin stashes. I know you do. I think we've even swapped napkins with some of you guys.
Yep, I have so many napkins.
So there's that. Now let's see. Let's get some of this Let's get some of the sheet music. Tissue paper. While the other stuff is drying. So that's another. It's going to be longer than my piece here, so I'll just wrap it around. All right, then there's that one. This is the, let's see, what kind of tape is this on? I think this is on the dollar store. Yeah, I think this one is on the dollar store stuff. And I'm finding that my tape, or my paint was a little thick, so it wants to run over the edge a little bit. So you might want to do a better job of trimming than I did. I just hacked them. But you get the idea anyway. So there's the dollar store. I think, what do they call that? Athletic tape? Something like that.
Paper tape.
Yeah, paper tape. That's what it was. Paper tape from the dollar store. And this one is on that frog tape. Let me get a piece of the frog tape down. And if you guys are worried about it coming up, you know, just put some glue or gel medium or something underneath it. Should be pretty good to go. All right, there's that one. This is the masking tape. So think of all the different tapes you guys have in your stash. That was masking tape. Pound shop. This one is the fabric with the double-sided adhesive tape. Okay, and what else do I have out here? Oh, this is the Xyron. This is the one I did on the Xyron machine. Didn't cut it very straight though, did I? Straighter. There we go. So put that down. There. There's a nice assortment of tape, right? And all in a short period of time. And I've still got lots of tape over here to use. So this one has got to dry. I need to set that someplace where I don't stick my elbow in it.
I'm using Distress Oxide on this athletic cloth tape stuff, and it's really picking up the texture of it. It just reminds me of canvas.
Hey, Gracie. Hi, Cindy.
Hey, stop coming apart. Nudes. How about warm lipstick? Let's do that next.
Oh, I need somebody to come and clean my house.
Good luck.
Well, yeah, my brother's coming to visit, and yeah. I haven't done a deep cleaning in a while. Because I like to play too much. What can I say? I like to play too much.
I think we all do.
Oh, hey. Stuff picks the stuff up off my craft mat pretty good, too. I'm just saying, all that dried paint on my craft mat. Interesting.
I wonder what happened if I splattered some water on this.
Ooh, I gotta get that sponge in the water. All right. Yeah, no kidding. All rather art than clean. Yeah. Cleaning never, well, okay. I did an awful lot of cleaning when I was a kid. And I think it wore me out. We always had cleaning day. You go to school all week and then you come home and Saturday was cleaning day. Ooh. It's like, really, I'd rather just go ride my bike.
Some white splatters. That's pretty cool.
Splatters are always cool.
Yep. I have to find the black.
What are you looking for? Stamps? What are you looking for?
I'm looking for the black ink. There it is.
Oh.
It's gonna go with some black.
All righty.
I think I'm going to go up to Flagstaff this weekend. It's probably a lot cooler up there.
Yeah.
Might even be snowing.
Ooh.
Probably not, but if it's hailing here, you know.
Yeah. It's a possibility, right?
Yep. And my kid's up there. Gonna go see him before school starts.
Yeah. When does his school start?
Monday.
Oh, well, you better get to booking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got all the kids, the grandkids and great grands got all their pictures this week because everybody was starting school. So it's like, oh, they're all clean and dressed and looking nice. Send grandma a photo.
Look at that. They clean up nicely.
Yeah, boy, oh boy. That was funny. Oops. Okay. So I think I'll just go ahead and cut that. Let's see, that's at 7.5. We'll do
Chop, chop.
2 half-inch ones. Do a few 3/4 ones.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah, this snowflake one is really pretty. Yeah, and even if you're not a journaler or anything like that, these strips look great on cards or tags, or they're just pretty. And they're already got adhesive, and you can just throw them in your bag if you're going to go someplace and you want to create on the run.
Planner. For those of you who
yes,
planners. Yeah, this is great for planners.
That would be Sherry. Sherry's a planner. Planner girl.
Not only do I not make planners, I don't even make plans.
Plans to make a planner?
I don't even have a plan to make a planner. I got no plans for any of that stuff at all. But there are a lot of people out there who do it. Bible journaling, this would be great to have a little strip along the side of your scripture.
Absolutely. Especially those ones that have the extra space on the side, because
yeah,
the strips would just go beautifully on those.
Absolutely. What a mess. I'm covered in paint and ink.
You're covered in what?
Paint and ink.
Oh, okay.
But you're not surprised.
Not really. So what's new about that?
Absolutely nothing.
That's what I thought.
Nothing at all.
Yeah.
So what did I just do with that big bin of ink? Oh, there it is. Okay.
Got that one.
So much junk on the floor and on the everywhere.
Order. Actually, it's easier to cut this way. Bye, Gracie.
People taking off. I think it's about time to be done.
Hey, Jamie, you made it. Yeah, it's getting close. We've got 7 minutes.
7 minutes.
7 minutes.
To finish up my little athletic tape. I lost the lid. I think we need some white splatters. That's what I think.
I'm really digging these napkin ones. Don't know why I didn't think of doing that before. I mean, I've done most of the other stuff, the tissue and the transfer off of the gel plate and the,
Yeah.
Napkins just didn't occur to me before.
Maybe some black splatter too.
Last cut. Whoops. It's crooked.
Way too much. Way too much.
No, just leave it. Okay. So
Yep. So I'm completely surrounded by supplies on the floor. I'm not going to be able to get up.
I understand. So what do you guys think? Are you going to go home and make some tape, or are you, if you're at home, are you making some tape, or what's the story there? Did we inspire anybody to make tape?
Curly. These need some more jewelry, but I'll get there. Bye, Fia. Yeah, I think I'm pretty much done here.
Bye, Fia. I hear a yes. I hear at least one yes. Okay. So I have a pile of tape. How about you?
You have a lot more than me. I have some sheets of tape and some strips of tape and a couple cards that are very plain, but use tape.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that yeah, we're about done, yeah.
I think we are. So I got something planned for next week. I can't remember what.
Was it the wooden house shrine?
Yeah, we did start without you, Jamie. Sorry. Oh, is that the house one next week? Okay, cool.
I don't know. It might be, or it might be something else. We have a whole bunch of them out there. We made a whole list, so if you want to know what we're doing, you can just go and look at the upcoming.
Yeah, and if you click on the reminder, you know, it's supposed to remind you.
Yeah.
Some people say it does, and some people say it doesn't, but we'll see. So that's my pile of tape.
Yep. Good job.
Tape.
This is my pile of tape, only much smaller because I did like whole sheets like that, but haven't been cut up. And then these are the packing tapes that still need some stamping or something on them. Some with napkins. And these are the two little cards I made. Plain cards.
Cool.
So that's it for us. Thanks for watching, guys.
Tape today. So I'll see you guys later. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Vicki.